Hello and welcome to Highlights. My name is Jim Strawn, host of the program Highlights from the Heart of Our Community. It's brought to you through a collaboration between Jim Strawn and Company, the Media Center, and HD Media. And if you're a regular viewer of our show, and of course we certainly hope that you are, you know how much we love to focus on those grassroots people, grassroots organizations, charitable, not-for-profit groups, sometimes businesses, all folks and all organizations that are just doing spectacular work, phenomenal work to make our great state of West Virginia a much better place to live, learn, work, and to play. And on today's Highlights program, we're going to feature an organization that's been doing that for 60 years. This is the 60th anniversary of the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair held at Cedar Lakes Conference Center in Ripley, West Virginia around the 4th of July each and every year. Lots of great insight coming your way. We're going to talk with a blacksmith, one of the exhibitors. We're going to talk with a VP from the committee in charge of public relations and marketing. Knows a little bit about the history, knows what to expect July 1, 2, and 3 of 2022 in and around Ripley at the, again, Cedar Lakes Conference Center. So sit back, relax, take some notes as I bring into the program Michael Young. Michael, how are you?
I'm well.
It's good to see you.
Well, it's good to be here.
You're a blacksmith.
I am.
And you're one of the exhibitors at the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair.
I am.
We're going to catch up with you and more in just a minute as I bring in Buddy Davidson. Buddy, how you been?
Great. How about yourself?
I'm really, really good. Now, you're the VP and you in charge of public relations and marketing. You work on the committee. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Betty, take folks back to, I'm going to call it humble beginnings. It was 1963. I was 3 years old. It was a very traumatic year in America, but it was also West Virginia's 100th anniversary. Talk about the very first mountains. Was it called Mountain State Art and Craft Fair?
It has been the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair all along, and it was conceived as a part of the state centennial celebration. So it was all tied into that, and it was originally envisioned as just kind of a one-off for the centennial, but it proved to be so popular that 60 years later, here we are.
Now, it's right at 60 years, so we have the logo that we can put up. You can talk a little bit about that. In 1963, West Virginia turned 100 years old. We seem to have lots of special, we thought were going to be one-timers, one-shot deals. This Mountain State Art and Craft Fair is another one. The National Science Camp was another one that was supposed to be one time, and now they do that every year up in Pocahontas County. Folks maybe are new to West Virginia, or they just haven't had a chance to go to the Cedar Lakes Conference Center for this art and craft fair. How do you explain it? What do you describe the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair as?
Well, it is a heritage event, and it's a celebration of our heritage, and it's a preservation of our heritage. Not only do we have juried artisans that come in and really provide the best materials and arts that you're going to find, people have a chance to make some things themselves, and there's a huge variety of food and music and just great times. It's a wonderful place to be and a wonderful place to have it.
It's one of those proud of your heritage, proud of your Appalachian heritage, and it all comes to the surface for 3 days. The Mountain State Art and Craft Fair, Cedar Lakes, the conference center there. Folks come there we're going to talk with Michael in a moment, about how many Michaels are there, about how many exhibitors, artisans, craftsmen do we have there?
Well, we don't have a final list yet,
Okay.
but it's safe to say dozens and dozens.
Sure.
I imagine we'll see 50, 60, 70 folks there, and it runs from photography to painting to quilting.
My favorite,
tremendous quilt
my
show
favorite,
up there.
no disrespect to the blacksmiths that are going to be there, but Michael, I love me some pottery.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you do too.
Oh, yeah.
But your background, Michael, is I turned to Michael Young, who's a blacksmith, and you're the proprietor for the Liberty Ironworks,
That's
is that correct,
yeah.
in Putnam County?
That's right.
So you have visited as an exhibitor to the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair maybe once, twice before?
Last year was my first year.
Last
yeah.
year was your first.
Yeah.
Talk about your journey to become a blacksmith, and what's your background?
Well, you got to carry my journey to blacksmithing way back to 1975 when, just out of high school, I did some volunteer work at the Ohio Village, which is a historical reenactment village in Columbus, Ohio, which is where I grew up. and I got hooked on. I mean, once that iron gets hot and you watch it move under the hammer, you just get hooked. It's just magical because you've got that short period of time to make it do something, and then it freezes and it's solid hard steel again. And
you kind of have a tagline with the Liberty Ironworks, and I like it. I'll let you give the
it's called handcrafted between the hammer and the anvil. And
here's some of your pieces.
That's right.
Take the fork that you make and the raw material to begin with over here.
Well,
and how does talk us through this?
Well, we start out. This is just a piece of mild steel, and it turns into a piece like that.
So where do you put the steel?
Well, you've got to heat it up to about 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, which turns it a bright yellow heat. And once you do that, the steel, amazingly enough, moves just like modeling clay. So if you can do it with modeling clay, you can do it with hot steel. Of course, you can't use your fingers. That's the issue. You can't.
2,500 degrees. That would burn your fingers.
It will. It will. In a heartbeat, it'll burn your fingers. It's glowing yellow heat.
Okay.
So you're actually taking a chisel to make the fork pieces, and you're splitting the steel this direction, and you bend it back and round it. This section is hammered down in this direction, and then this piece here is held and hammered slightly at
on the anvil.
That way on the anvil, yeah.
Okay,
and then once again, you take another tool and you punch the hole, which is here, much like you would punch a hole punch in paper. The process is the same. And so this is what can be made out of a simple piece of steel like that.
I think I've seen your website. You have numerous products here, but you make some things to hang on the mantle at Christmas time.
I do. I didn't bring any of those with me.
You have jingle bell looking things here.
Yep.
You probably make some there's a flower. I'm going to say you probably make flowers just right in front of me.
Right. This is an ornament that we make, and it demonstrates what's called forge welding, and it's made of
So
four.
I want to say it again. I want people to think I'm smart. So this is forged iron.
Forged. Well, yes. Actually, this is
Forged steel. Forged steel. I'm not as smart as I think I am.
Well, the term wrought iron was a type of iron that was made, and it stopped being produced commercially in the 80s. Okay. So we can't get wrought iron anymore. Okay. So now it's all mild steel.
Okay.
And in this case, in this piece, it's made of 4 individual pieces of steel, which is brought up to just below the steel's melting temperature, brought out of the forge, laid upon the anvil, and hammered so that the steel pieces actually melt together and are forged into one piece. And you turn it around and do the same thing on the other side, and then it's twisted, and then just for fun, you stick a glass marble in the middle of it.
No kidding. Now, a little birdie told me you haven't done this. You may have done this your whole life, but you also had a career, right?
I did. Yeah. I worked for the state. I was an environmental inspector for 26 years.
And retired.
I did.
And thought, what am I going to do with my time?
Well, I always knew. The shop that I'm in now, I built back in 1988, and so I've been doing this all along ever since I've been here.
How were you received last year at the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair? What do you expect this year? How many products do you take? I know you demonstrate there. That's a lot of questions. Just talk about your experience there.
Last year was just incredible. People were, I think, tired of being under lockdown with COVID.
Absolutely, they were.
And Friday they poured out of the woodwork, and we had a great time.
How many products do you think you'll end up packing and taking up to Ripley July 1, 2, and 3 of 2022?
Oh, this is just a small variety of what we take, and I don't have a number for you. It ranges. One of the things I brought, it ranges. These are tongs. Blacksmithing involves making things that are tools, which is this is a tong, and this is a chisel, and then there's kitchen tools like that fork and these scoops, and then all the way up to art pieces.
Now
like that. So.
You are an artist. You are a blacksmith artist. But as Buddy was talking about, this is a showcase of the heritage and preservation of yesteryears, decades gone back. Probably in the 1800s, 1700s. This was a necessity, not a piece of art. This is how you made things to make other things happen.
The blacksmithing has been known as the master craft, in that all the other crafts, the carpenters, the bricklayers, had to come to the blacksmith to make their tools and to repair their tools. So in years past, the blacksmith was, without a blacksmith, the other crafts struggled to get their tools and to do their craft. So it was a very valuable craft. As a matter of fact, through the Middle Ages, the blacksmith was thought to be a little bit magical because he had control over fire, and he was red-hot iron was magically formed, so to speak, as into what they needed to be made. Of course, as the Industrial Revolution came along, the importance of the blacksmith kind of disappeared to the invent of the machine. And
folks my age, Michael, in my 60s, my first kind of recollection of going, that's pretty cool as a blacksmith, was obviously watching gun smoke, and they
making horseshoes.
Making horseshoes
right.
for the horses. Is that still a thing?
Well, if you want to get technical, horseshoe makers are called farriers.
Okay.
And they are a craft all unto itself. What happened in those old-time villages is if you were a farrier, which was in high demand, you also were in demand to make hinges, door straps, latches, that sort of thing. So it kind of melded together. But in the old country, the farrier and the blacksmith was two entirely separate trades.
But it's pretty fascinating, isn't it?
It is fascinating.
And there's going to be 40, 50, 60 possibly exhibitors, vendors at the 60th anniversary of the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair. Not only the blacksmith, but you mentioned some of them. I think one of the coolest things is you don't just come and shop. The demonstrations and the applications, not all of them, but there's a lot of things to do, not just see and buy, correct?
That is correct. You can watch people do wood turning. You can do it yourself. We have built kites in the past, calligraphy, stained glass you can make, paper making, of course, basketry, and even swing in and grind some of your own cornmeal.
One of my recollections is they're always making apple butter at the art and craft fair. Is that still a thing?
That is most definitely a thing.
I hope so.
Central to our entire image. And now, of course, you don't, they might let you stir it a little bit. They get tired of sitting there all day. You have to keep that paddle moving.
I have an apple stir. What do you call those? What do you call this?
You stumped me.
Yeah, no.
Stir.
Stir, yeah, apple butter stir. They might just call it that.
A paddle. Maybe it's a paddle.
I have one of those, and you got to keep it moving, right? Mm-hmm. But that's another thing that takes a little bit of flame, and it's a laborious job, but the outcome is just super delicious. I'm kind of looking at the schedule here as I talk with Buddy Davidson, who's with the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair. Folks, it starts on July the 1st. That's a Friday, I believe, July 2nd, Saturday, and then Sunday. So the fair is 3 days. We got some kite making. We got some antique sawmill demonstrations. We got, there's a museum for the tractors of throughout Appalachia,
and steam engines.
And steam engines. There's we got a fishing derby. We've got the sheep shearing. Brother Ed is one of our sheep shearers up there, right? I thought we might have had a picture of that maybe there. We got some storytelling. We have some history telling. Just there's just numerous things going on in and outside. Mostly outside, but you can go inside and see some of these things as well. I'm sure quilts are still involved with this. Is that a thing still?
That is true, and we do have a new, or at least an expanded assembly hall. So we're going to have even more on the indoor side, and people should know that there's plenty of seating. It's you come and spend the day, get under the shade tree, sit on a straw bale.
Yeah,
we do run courtesy golf cart shuttles back and forth to all the free parking.
So free parking, I was going to mention that. Folks, pull up there. There's plenty of signs directing you in. You get off the interstate up there, probably the Fairplane. You get off the Ripley exit. Either one of those will get you there, right?
Fairplane is probably the best way to come, but obviously if you live in Ripley, that's the way to come.
So get off the Fairplane exit off of I-77, folks. Follow signs. Get into the Cedar Lakes, the conference center, plenty of signs, and then parking doesn't cost you anything, correct?
Free.
And then you got a shuttle into there. Buddy, talk about the admission fee. It still looks pretty affordable for folks, and it's a great family event. Something for 4-year-olds, something for 104-year-olds, something for the whole family.
Absolutely, definitely for the whole family.
Right.
It's $5 to get in.
Only $5 still yet.
12 and under get in free.
For free, 12 and under free.
Dogs get in free as
Wow,
well.
nice.
If you have a leash on them, we don't provide leashes. And
Okay.
I suppose if you can get a leash on your cat, you could bring it to.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, if I don't get to all the questions that you might be thinking as I talk with Buddy Davidson, and he's with the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair, along with Michael Young. He's one of our vendors. He's one of our exhibitors. He is a local, I call it local. He's from Liberty, which is local, right? Putnam County. He's a blacksmith. He runs Liberty Iron Works. But if you want to know more about the Art and Craft Fair, it is MSACF.com. MSACF.com. That is on your screen. LibertyIronworksWV.com. If you'd like to see some of Michael's work, LibertyIronworksWV.com. You can also reach Michael at 304-541-7230. The hours of the show, Buddy?
10 to 6 daily, and come early.
10 to 6 every day. Michael, you ready for a big 2022 up there?
I'm working hard to get ready.
How many hours a day do you spend in your shop?
Well, probably 8 to 10.
Like a regular
except
day.
the last 2 days when I didn't have any electricity at the house.
That was tough, wasn't it?
It was challenging.
That was difficult.
It was challenging.
That was difficult. Buddy, really, seriously, people are watching this show and they're like, I've heard about this Mountain State Art and Craft Fair. It's a big deal in our state. I've never been. Why should they come?
They should come because it really supports West Virginians. It supports their businesses. It supports our heritage. It's centrally located, easy to get to. It's great for the whole family. And, we have run into, I wouldn't say that it was ever an either-or thing about the Ripley 4th of July thing, but we're 1st through 3rd this year, and the Ripley 4th is on Monday. So no conflict whatsoever.
July the 4th in Ripley is one of those slice out of Americana days. It's very patriotic, and we've had many presidents come for the 4th of July parade in Ripley. Buddy, you know the folks from Jackson County, which is where Ripley is, their sense of patriotism. Does that stem from just the fact that we're proud West Virginians and we're proud to be Americans sort of thing, you think?
Absolutely, and proud to be West Virginians for sure. And speaking of presidents, Abe Lincoln and Mary Todd will be on the grounds.
Oh, nice.
on one of the days. I'm not exactly sure when they're scheduled. I don't know how the stovepipe hat and the beard will do.
It'll be warm for them.
But speaking of beards, we also have the, I think, 86th or 68th WVU Mountaineer.
Oh, nice.
And she does not have a beard.
No, she does not.
Her name is Mary Roush, and she is a Mason County native, and she's going to be there as well.
So we have a lot of strolling characters. Michael?
We didn't mention music.
Music. One of our Appalachian heritage backgrounds. The backbone.
I tell you, award-winning,
a lot of picking and grinning.
Awesome. Watched the Johnny Stats and show there last year and with Robert Schaefer. Took me back to when I was 5 years old in the front room at Grandma and Grandpa's when they'd come in with the fiddles.
Michael, you like that fiddle music?
Oh, the mountain music is just phenomenal.
We haven't talked about, there's probably going to be a booth or two where they actually are making and selling dulcimers, right? Is that still a thing up there?
That has been. I'm not 100% sure
that we'll have them there this year. I can't imagine not having dulcimers at the Art and Craft Fair. The 60th annual Mountain State Art and Craft Fair, msacf.com. Buddy Davidson is with us. Michael Young is with us. Michael, some of the money that comes in, it's really affordable, $5, and then you may make some money from concession stands and food and different things, and it costs the vendors a little bit of money. It costs a little bit of money to exhibit and be there, so it's an investment for our small businesses and our artisans. How is the money operated? Do you benefit somebody? Where does the money go that we make, and who orchestrates actually the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair? Is it a volunteer committee?
It is a volunteer. It's an independent board, and it works like that. There is a ton of state agencies that are very much involved, and cooperators from the guilds to the crafters. It's really a group effort, and we do it. There's really no money involved for the people that put it on. Right. Hopefully it's for the food producers, and we've got the West Virginia grown tent there, the West Virginia Marketplace, where people can try some of the great food products that we also do in this state, and take them home with them. Honey, maple syrup,
cornbread, bread,
cornmeal,
apple butter.
Now, talking about bread,
homemade bread,
Legacy Foods, their baking demo
I bought
in
a
the
few
craft
loaves.
building is worth the price of admission.
That's our favorite thing. Yeah,
I have bought a few loaves. Folks, we're talking with Buddy and Michael. We're talking about the 60th anniversary of the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair. If you haven't been ever, what are you doing? If you haven't been in a while, time to get back. The pandemic seemingly still got to be cautious, but seemingly that's in our rear view mirror. Was a very transformative time, but I think things are starting to happen. You can see the theme on the highlight show. We're talking about a lot of things that haven't happened for a couple of years. Yes, we did one last year, but we missed the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair in 2020. It is back bigger than ever this year. Go to msacf.com if you want to learn more about Michael Young's work, blacksmith from Putnam County, Liberty Ironworks WB.com. He will be at the Art and Craft Fair along with many other exhibitors. You might see Buddy there. You might see me there. We hope to see you there. Michael, we're just about out of time. Do you have a parting shot, something I haven't asked you, something the audience needs to know about this show and about this fair and about what you guys are all about?
I think it's just amazing to go up and when I get the chance, walk around and see the variety of arts and crafts that the people of West Virginia are doing. Some of it is mind blowing. It's just mind blowing.
We have, Buddy, some it's truly remarkable.
I mean,
amazing, talented artists.
If all you want to do is think of it as a museum of craft, just come and walk around and
a living museum.
A living museum, yeah.
Buddy,
absolutely.
a parting shot from you for the audience?
I've seen this guy in a couple places. I'll say that my young daughter was completely impressed with him, as am I, and he's just one of many. So
what are you waiting for?
Visit. There's no reason not to come. It'll be a holiday. The weather's going to be perfect.
It's always
I
nice.
guarantee. And come on down, as we say.
Buddy Davidson, thank you very much.
Very welcome. My pleasure.
Michael Young, thank you. We'll see you on July 1, 2, and 3.
Sounds like a plan.
We hope to see you on July 1, 2, and 3 of 2022 as well, as it is time for the 60th anniversary of the Mountain State Art and Craft Fair. That's all the time we have on this edition of Highlights, as always brought to you by Jim Strawn and Company, the Media Center, and HD Media. We'll see you on July 1, 2, and 3. And we'll see you next time right here on Highlights. Take care now.